In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to thread your bobbin and your sewing machine. Hi friends, welcome back to So Obvious. I'm Apollinar. So as some of you guys know, I've been spending a lot of time since this quarantine sewing a lot of face masks in between working a full-time job. Now because there's been such large amounts of orders, I have had help from both my mom and my sister-in-law. Neither of them is a professional sewer or has that much training in it. And at some point or another, I had to walk them both through winding a bobbin and threading their sewing machine. And it hit me that I'm like 60 videos into this YouTube channel and I never taught you guys how to do that on your own machine. I actually just finished a 100 mask order for the local YWCA here, and I would not have gotten it done if it wasn't for my mom. And she would not have gotten it done if I hadn't taught her how to thread the machine and the bobbin. Before we get started, just remember that not all sewing machines are the same. In my experience, a lot of them tend to follow the same basic steps to threading both the bobbin and the actual sewing machine. So let's get started. For threading your sewing machine and bobbin, you're going to need obviously some thread, bobbin, and some scissors. Look at these scissors. I'm in love with them. I just bought them for my mom and she didn't like them. I decided to keep them and raise them as my own because they don't need that kind of negativity in their lives. They need to feel wanted. So first things first, we're gonna go back here. You can see this is where your thread goes. Now when you look at a spool of thread, it has this hole that goes right down the middle. That's where this stick is going to go. So you place it through. Now most machines come with this, it's like a little stopper. It holds on tightly to the stick and it keeps your thread from bouncing back and forth when it's sewing, which could lead to like bunching or knots, that kind of stuff. So I always push it back as far as possible. This also helps your thread from breaking. When you get a new spool of thread, one of these sides has a little notch in it, which is where they put the end of the thread so it doesn't get undone. If you don't have this little wheel here to stop it, it's gonna get caught in that little ledge and then rip. Okay, so now that we got that, we are going to put our thread through this little loop right here. So we got our thread in. If you look at your sewing machine, most of them have little instructions that you can follow, both for threading the bobbin and for threading the machine, the needle, and how to put in your bobbin into your bobbin case. So we're gonna start with threading the bobbin. So as you can see, step one is to get the thread to loop through this little hook right here. Now that we got it hooked, we're gonna go to step two, which is to latch it onto here. It goes underneath and around like that. Now we're going to pull it forward, and what we're gonna do is kind of like a zigzag is the way that I kind of see it. We're gonna go this way, around this little stick right here, coming back this way, and then wrapping it around this circle that way. So it's kind of like a zigzag. So here we go. We pull it forward, backward, and around this circle. Now when you pull it around the circle, you want to tighten it because this is kind of like the tension that is going to make sure that when the thread is actually winding into the bobbin, it stays at a nice, even pace. So there we go. I'm going to give it a little pull to make sure it's going through properly, and it is. Now we're going to go get our bobbin. So here is the bobbin thread. As you can see, it's got little holes on the outside, one on each side. One right here, and then one over here. This is for us to put our thread through. However, the thread needs to go from the middle to the outside. It doesn't matter which side you choose to use. Here I have the thread. We're gonna go through the middle, through the hole. You're gonna pull it through. Now we're gonna take the bobbin and we're gonna snap it into this piece over here. There you go, you should hear a little click. And now we are going to push the whole thing over until you hear that click. Once you have that snapped in, you wanna hold your thread straight up. You wanna hold it tightly, you don't wanna let go. And you are going to put your foot on the pedal as if you are going to sew. And it'll start winding itself up. Once you've got a pretty good amount already wound up, then you get your scissors and cut off the thread. Once you cut the thread, you simply just keep winding. It'll only take about 30 seconds to fully wind a bobbin. and you'll know when it's done because it'll make these little clicking sounds like it's struggling. Do you see how it's like going back and forth like that? That means it's done. That means it's its full capacity. Now you can cut this thread and we can put the bobbin in the bobbin case. So you pull this back to pull that out. And again, there is a picture here that shows you how the bobbin sits in the case and how you pull the thread basically along this end here like that so that it gets pulled up correctly. When you put in the bobbin, you want the thread to be coming undone from this end towards you. So you drop the thread in and then you basically just pull the thread through this little channel right here until it gets cut off. Now you just put the little plate back in, push it down, and it snaps, and our bobbin is done. Now, let's go back up here and start working on the actual machine. Now to thread the sewing machine, it starts the same way. You're gonna go through this loop, go through here, but instead of coming up this way to use this thing, we are going to follow this groove right here. You're gonna pull it all the way down. Once you get to the bottom, you see this number 3 here is telling you to go back up. Once you get up here, number 4 is telling you to go around and you're gonna hook it. Do you see that metal piece right there? You can see it glimmering. You wanna make sure that your thread hooks onto it. There we go. If you pull it around this way, kind of follow the edges, it should hook. If it's not hooking, that means that that bar is not up high enough. One way to make sure that it's high enough is to look at this notch right here on the wheel. If this notch is lining up with the seam of the machine, then it's up at its highest point. If it's not, simply just turn it and then that hook will be in the proper place. So now that it's hooked, we're gonna follow it right back down this way. As you can see, number 5 is here. So once you follow number 5 down, we are going to hook our thread through this bar right here above the needle. This little hook kind of serves as a guide for the thread to make sure it all goes straight down. There we go. It's behind that thread. And the last thing we've got to do is to thread the needle. Now, some machines don't have a needle threader like mine does right here. So you might just have to either use tweezers or, lick the end of the thread and push it through the needle hole. But mine, thankfully, has a needle threader. So what I do is I hook my thread through this little notch right here. Up here we have a little lever. You pull the lever down. It pushes the thread through. When you let go, it leaves a little loop of thread back there. And then all you gotta do is pull the thread through the loop. Do it softly, don't pull it hard, because as you guys saw, there was a little bit of a knot in the thread. If you pull it really hard, that knot might actually become a stiff knot, and then it won't go through the needle hole. Now that we've got the thread through the needle, what you want to do is make sure you pull it through the foot straight to the back. Ugh, look at all that dust. I gotta clean this. Gross. So you pull the thread straight to the back so it's heading this way. This makes sure that it also helps with preventing tangling, and that means you've got your machine and your bobbin threaded. Yay! If you liked today's video, make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring the bell. You can also follow me on Instagram on @Hollywood. There, I post some of my upcoming projects and any videos that I'll be posting on here. If you didn't like today's video, then that sucks, because I got more videos coming in the future, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Okay, bye!